Well, one of the reasons I actually asked you about whether our domestic investors are taking a look at this situation is there was a report by Wall Street, from Wall Street Journal, saying that Nigeria is one of the most actually top in the list of most watched countries in terms of investment destination. So we're seeing a lot of foreign investors trying to also monitor the markets, and Nigeria is actually top on the list. They are looking at how they can make more inroads. They've actually done that before, make more inroads into the Nigerian economy. And so our domestic investors at this point, I think that perhaps they would begin to look towards the direction of the stock market, even if we know that they got burned some years back, and so that level of confidence hasn't fully been recovered.
Yes, it's still a kind of not something that is not too clear. You had analyzed or given that report, but you remember within the week or last week there was a report as well concerning the bond. JP Morgan really wanted to
also even putting out on a watch list, but a negative one.
Negative one for that matter. You understand? And what happened is investors now want to seek for higher return or yield on their investments on the basis of the fact that it has been put on negative watch list, and which even give CBN a reason to take some decision, try to more or less soften some of the hard decisions taken concerning the forex market. You remember they had said that if you buy dollars, you're given 24 or 48 hours. If you cannot be able to sell it, return it back to CBN. Now it has been extended to 72. So what is happening is that fine, investors are watching from one side, then the rating is not still giving us a kind of a respite, but it's not as if there's no.
Is it having any form of impact on the capital market?
It does.
The JP Morgan index, and the latest one, which actually is one of the latest developments in the financial markets, coming from Wall Street Journal, saying that Nigeria is top on the list of countries that investors in America and also in Europe are watching.
Yes. Fine. That perception, that assessment is there. It is one thing for you to be watching, and another thing for you to actually take a step. Because if you know, bond market and capital market, they have inverse relationship. You understand? But at the same time, you remember, you should know that those who invest in bonds, some of them could still invest because it's more or less like diversify your portfolio.
Okay.
You understand?
Okay, let's quickly take a look at some stocks before our time is actually running, and I wouldn't want us to leave out some important points. Now, let's take a look at some stocks during the week. Beginner's table, for instance, we had UACN topping that list. I'm just wondering what could have driven that stock.
Honestly, I'm still, aghast as to what will bring USC down to as low as 25 naira, because about 3 weeks ago it went as low as that before it recover it to 31 on Monday. Then from Monday till yesterday, it gained about 6 naira, like I had said earlier, and it's something that I don't know what was behind that, because so far I tried within the week to find out what really led to that. If it was maybe the expectation of a bad result or whatever, which I have not seen, because this is a company that have fully diversified itself. They are into Portland paint, they are into livestock feed. They had actually taken some giant steps. So it's more or less like this momentum or something that will happen, of which you will not be able to put your finger on what actually led to that. Let me quickly mention a company that I had taken my time to watch. We've not mentioned it, this period. All this while that every company have been coming down, or some have been stable, or some have been going up and down, this company has remained, that never depreciated even 1%. It has always been going up. It's Data Glass, better known as
the penny stock.
It was a penny stock, but today starting at Data Glass had never lost 1 kobo since for the past 1 year. It's either remain stable, and if whatever, anytime it move up. So it's something that you will not be able to, explain the rationale behind it.
Okay.
The company featured in the movement within the week is Golden Guinea Brewery. maybe next time we'll discuss more on that.
Okay, well, before I let you go, Abel, I would like us to look at the oil and gas sector. We'll be bringing a report very shortly. We see that all indices during the week finished higher, except for the oil and gas index. In 30 seconds, what's your view about the movement in this index?
Yes, it was caused by the depreciation in MRS and corn oil over the, because if you remember, Total had really been stable, even Mobil had been stable, then Prt2 oil had been stable to an extent, but now they are stable. If any other one went down, it will really distort the graph for that sector. So corn oil had actually been coming down, and that what led to, and then Prt2 oil now dropped some marginal point, which led to, the result you have, in your analysis there. So, so basically, is a reflection of the investors' perception of the company. Even though they declared, as corn oil, they declared 4 naira last year, but since they went as far as high as 17 naira, they had been depreciating, and now they are about 34 naira as we speak.
Now, in the new week that we're going into, how do you think the market will play out?
The market will still be, on kind of, because now it has moved this week. By the time you get to middle of next week, the same scenario will come up itself, because people are now taking advantages of profit, or realizing their profit. That will be the trend that, and if you look at what happened on Friday, it is mostly penny stock that actually gained on Friday, apart from UAC and GT Bank. You have NEM Insurance, you have RT Briscoe on Friday, you have Envas Medical. Most of all these penny stock actually dominated the company that took part in that price appreciation.
All right, Abel, I have to say thank you at this point. Thank you so much for your time. That'll be all we will take from you. Abel Ezekiel, our market analyst here on the program. Still talking the oil and gas index. We're all aware about the slash in the pump price of petrol from 97 naira to 87 naira. And we've seen that the federal government actually announced the cuts in that direction. Now, this reduction seems to be impacting on the prices of some of the stocks that are quoted under the oil and gas sector of the Nigerian Stock Exchange. And according to brokers and dealers, it is expected that the margins of companies will decline amidst other uncertainties that are hovering around the economy. Let's listen to this report as compiled by Temple Ashaju.
There are 7 companies listed in the oil and gas sector of the Nigerian stock market, 6 in the petroleum distribution subsector, and 1 in the petroleum exploration subsector. Of these categories, only 2 of the listed petroleum distribution companies improved significantly in their share prices last year. The fall in crude oil price since last June is a major reason for the notched-up prices of oil and gas equities. And with the federal government's reduction of PMS price from 97 naira to 87 naira, the margin of the oil and gas stocks may experience some losses.
It's going to have some impact on the petroleum marketing companies in the premise that their margin, of course, will be a bit down. But again, if you look at it from the point of the socio-political environment, yes, there have been a lot of complaints concerning that issue. If in the international market crude prices are falling, then it makes sense. It might not be business-wise for the oil marketers, but for the generality of the Nigerian people, even for the government itself, it makes sense for them to reduce the pump price of fuel. But the way and manner they arrive at that price is a different ball game, because you can't say because crude oil prices have come down over 50%, then our pump price locally here should also come down 50%. It does not make sense. But I'm sure the petroleum economists will be able to tell us that and explain why that 10 naira. But for the oil marketing companies in the market, of course, it's going to have an impact on them because their margin will be reduced by that 10 naira.
Analysts also believe that the next earnings to be posted by these quoted companies may not encourage the needed investment appetite for equities.
The capital market for investors, they are looking at 2 things: capital appreciation and, of course, dividend payment. Now, of course, the earnings Now, if the earnings of this company, of course, we're expecting reports from last year. If their earnings, of course, you're not going to have what is happening now is not going to impact on their balance sheet for last year. Okay? But at the same time, if their earnings that they're going to be reporting for last quarter that will be coming within this period, if they have improved, of course, we're going to see an increase in their share prices. But I doubt if that is going to be the case. We're not going to be seeing increase in their earnings. And if that happens in their report they're going to be giving out, of course, with the conditions again, the prices of this equity in the market are definitely going to nosedive.
Various uncertainties are currently hovering around the Nigerian economy, from the fall in crude oil price to the electioneering exercise. Foreign and local investors have been forced to place their investment sentiments on hold. Despite the sharp devaluation of the naira and the insurgency in the northeast, the challenges have often been referred to as opportunities to buy into in the largest frontier economy in Africa. Temple Ashaju, Channels Television News.
And on that note, so we've come to the end of the capital markets. I want to thank everyone out there for taking our time to watch the program. Thank you so much. I am Bolaji Akinwale. Bye-bye.